Welcome to the Coffee with Cheryl podcast, the podcast for women over 50 who want to live their best life right now. Imagine having the courage to reinvent your life financially, professionally, personally, and spiritually. Join Cheryl and guests as they share practical tips and resources to inspire you to achieve the lifestyle of your dreams. So grab your favorite mug. It's time for Coffee with Cheryl.
Welcome to the Coffee with Cheryl podcast for women over 50 who want to live their best life right now. I am your host, Cheryl Garrison. I am an author. I am a publisher. I am a coach. I am a champion for women over 50 and all the wonderful things that we deal with as we go through this wonderful age of 50 something and beyond. I am so excited to have with me today Michelle Sumrall, who is not just a colleague, but also has become a friend over the numerous projects that we have worked together. And so, Michelle, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been, I think we missed last week because I was having a surgical procedure, and I just want to let everyone know I'm doing well and on the mend, and I'm so glad to be back on the podcast this week. We usually start with a quote, but today we are dealing with a very serious issue and also dealing with a new adventure or a new venture for Michelle and her daughter, and I'll let her tell you about that. So I want to introduce you to Michelle Sumrall. She is an author and she is a coach. Her business is Total Life Coaching, and I'll let her introduce herself a little more formally and tell you about her daughter as well. Hi, Michelle.
Hello. Thank you for having me back, Cheryl, and I'm glad you're up. Hopefully you stay that way for a while.
Oh yeah, that's my intention. I'm hoping that this is it's been a rough few years here with that thing called Arthur. Right.
No,
But
that's no way.
hey, it's all good.
Yeah, so I'm Michelle Sumrall, an author and certified life coach. I have a life coaching business, TLC, Total Life Coaching, and I enjoy writing. My educational background is in counseling psychology, and I actually work in HR, so I'm not working in that field. But what I do enjoy is writing about topics that mean something to our lives and are about human behavior. My first project was Scattered, a caregiver's journey through Alzheimer's disease and dementia that Cheryl helped me tremendously with. And I'm still in that caregiving space. So, still on that road, but hopefully that project is able to help some others. After publishing that, somewhere in, I don't know, shortly after that, my daughter, I have a 15-year-old daughter who's a 10th grader in high school. She had a friend a girl that she knew of that committed suicide. And this leading week, the 13th of November through the 17th, is anti-bullying week. And the theme this year is make a noise about bullying. So that's what I want to do. But, I go back to that young lady that had been bullied, who took her life. She committed suicide. And it's always been a bit of a struggle for me with the thought of suicide and then the thought of a teenager, right?
Yes.
And my mother always told me, just, go to bed and wake up. It's a new day.
Yeah.
Just keep living. That was just always the lesson, the message that I heard was keep living. And I've been able to just kind of do that, right? Shake things off and just keep moving on.
Right.
I can instill that in my daughter. But it saddens me that there's so many children who don't get that message, right? When things are really down, they don't know what to do,
Right. And yeah, as a society, we haven't helped them a lot.
Mm.
because of the things that we are exposing them to through social media, through all the dark uh, books and movies and all the things that we hit them with. And then we say, go out and be these positive people and live these great lives. But
It's
I
really
think,
Mhm.
yeah, and it's as adults, I think we've been very irresponsible to our children to allow them to be subjected to so much of this. Tell us, you have an exciting project that will be coming out next year. But we wanted to talk about it this week because it is anti-bullying week, and it is a chance for people to sort of be alerted to what will be coming out. Talk about your project with your daughter, which brought me into this subject and is enlightening me on something that really, as having raised three kids, they're all adults, and I have grandkids. I just really didn't think about this subject
Mhm.
until you brought it to light, and it's really opened my eyes. So tell us about what you and your daughter are doing.
Right. So I guess first the thing is, why is a 50-something-year-old woman talking about bullying? Well, an old mom, so um,
Not old.
I'm an old mom of a teenager, so I'll own that. But I'm working on with my daughter. We're co-authoring a project called "The Bullied, the Bully, and the Bystander." In the situations that I've read about, that she's talked about, there are usually those three factors. You have the child that's the bully, or
Hmm.
that's being bullied. You have the bully, and there's somebody standing around looking. In today's society, they're videotaping.
Hmm.
They're recording these things, but not acting on them.
Right.
So given the one suicide that my daughter told me about a while ago, and then there was another one maybe a couple of weeks ago, similar situation. Those just tugged at my heart. But we started writing this back, after that first one, and just became more and more passionate about it. And my daughter told me that I don't talk teen, so she has to help me with this one. So, and that's fine. And, she's contributing. And so the process of editing is interesting because I'll write something and she'll say, yeah, no, we wouldn't say that. But my mind is wanting it to sound like something that somebody can read.
Mhm.
So it's been interesting. But anyway, so yeah, working on this and hoping that the story does bring some attention to a pretty serious topic.
It
Bullying
is.
does not necessarily lead to suicide. I want to really make sure
Mhm.
that's out there. But it can be a contributing factor,
Mhm.
right? Folks who commit suicide generally have a whole lot of factors that feed into that. So I just don't want that to be that a bullying incident to be that last straw for a child who's already going through so much. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's our project. So
It's exciting. This book will be coming out next year, and so look, if you follow Michelle on social media, and we'll put her information in the comments, get on her waiting list so that you can be alerted when the book will be available for pre-sale and then available for release. Because as we were talking earlier, Michelle, me having adult children, I do have grandchildren, and we were talking about my 11-year-old granddaughter, who, just in the cruelty of growing up as kids, we all know what it's like to be a kid and to have kids, rag on us and all of that. But today it's a little different because of social media. And so for me, this is something I want this book. And I think other women over 50 who are grandparents and who are either raising children like Michelle in our 50s, we need to know more about just what bullying does to our kids and be more aware so that you can see signs of this in your own child. You had mentioned that there's some really interesting statistics around bullying. You want to share some of that with the audience today?
Sure. I was a little shocked to find out that there was not a federal definition of bullying until 2014. That's not long ago.
That's
Um,
scary.
that was a little scary. The CDC and the Department of Education released a definition in 2014. There are three core elements to that definition, and they include unwanted aggressive behavior, observed or perceived power imbalance, and the third one is repetition or high likelihood of repetition of those aggressive or bullying behaviors. And so
Hmm.
it has to fit into those three factors have to be in place for it to be considered bullying. We know that bullying affects our youth, whether they're the bully, or that person who's watching that I call the bystander.
Hmm.
But the effects of bullying can follow into adulthood. I honestly see that in my work life. There
Hmm.
are people, who are coming into the workforce now who are triggered by things that, they may have experienced prior in earlier life. So it does follow into adulthood. There's some stats around the age groups that were done in a particular study of students 12 to 18 who reported being bullied. Um, they believe that those who bullied them, 56% of them believe that the bully had the ability to influence other students' perceptions of them. So they had a strong influence on what other
Hmm.
people thought of them. 50% of them believed that the bully had more social influence. 40% believed that the bully was physically stronger than them. And 31% believed that the bully had more money. So they're feeling, just beat down for a
Hmm.
variety of factors. Back when I was in school a long time ago, if you went to school, that's generally when you're around a whole lot of other children,
Uh-huh.
you would go home at some point, right? So the bullying factor would end. But now with social media that you've mentioned, it follows them.
Hmm.
It's everywhere. So if there's a bully, it could even be just cyberbullying. There could be no
Right,
physical threat there, but
right.
and these kids are constantly on phones. So it follows them wherever they are now. So that's a bit scary, that they can't get away from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just it's amazing to think that, you're just trying to go to school and get your education and just, have fun as a teen, and you're dealing with this kind of whether, like you said, whether it's in person or whether it is online. Um, Now, in terms of your daughter, Aleisha,
Yes.
she I haven't had a chance to meet her formally, but through you, I feel like I've
Right.
gotten a chance to know her, and she seems to have a very strong self-worth and person, really uh thinks a lot of who she is. How important is that to helping our kids be able to ward off a bully? Is that important in that whole subject?
I think it is. And I'll tell you with her, um, she carries herself differently. We've not had a problem with bullying since, I don't know if it can happen in daycare, but there was a kid who pushed her down. She was a toddler, and this little boy who was just a terror. He would always take the toys and push the kids down. Well, I got called into the office one day. I was picking her up. She was walking. She might have been two.
Mhm.
And he pushed her down. He took the toy, and this day she pushed him back. So they said we just have to report it. We're not upset with her. We have to report it though. And there was another child, I think in kindergarten. Same situation, but she would take care of herself. But she asked me in first grade to take Taekwondo.
Mhm.
I had tried it before, and it didn't work very well. The instructor had a booming voice, and it made her nervous. And she was 3, I
Mhm.
think, at the time when we first tried it. But after that, and she has a black belt. And I'm not saying in any way that she needs to use
Mhm.
it, but she carries herself with confidence that yeah, she's not to be bothered. She has yet to be bothered with any of that.
Right.
I think the way you carry yourself, the way you interpret situations that come to you, um, she's very humorous. She's very, very funny. I try not to tell her that, but she's
Uh-huh.
she's pretty funny. I know you've heard her on the phone a few times, and she's hilarious. So she makes humor of a lot of
Mhm.
situations. If she sees something that's about to get heated, she'll say something funny, and either she'll laugh it off and walk away,
Uh-huh.
or everybody's laughing,
So,
and
and yeah,
it breaks it up, diffuses it.
that,
So she has her ways about it.
yeah.
And I hope she keeps that. And we have a really open door. So we talk about any and everything. I wait for her to get the rundown on her day. That's our
Mhm.
thing. So
That's good.
I
That's
just
good.
wish more kids would be able to, shake it off, keep it moving.
And that's important to talk to kids. I know when I was raising my kids, it was pretty open to let us know what's going on and share if you're having problems. And I think that whole thing of self-esteem is very important in keeping a kid from falling into being a victim of bullying, just because the bully will know that that's not the one. But this week, as we're talking about anti-bullying, there are a bunch of activities or things going on, and you were mentioning that today is a day. What was the day?
So tomorrow was Monday. Oh gosh, where has the weekend gone?
Yeah.
No, tomorrow's Sunday. Monday. Like, wait, what happened? The 13th is Odd Sock Day.
Uh-huh.
So everyone wear odd socks on Monday, November 13th. And that's air date, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, so I'll put on some
Yes.
odd socks and put her some odd socks on. She wears odd socks anyway, though.
Okay.
Um, can't find a pair of socks in this house to save my life. But yeah, it's Wear Odd Socks Day. So in
Okay.
recognition and in making noise for Anti-Bullying Week. I will post something on social media every day of the week for whatever that day happens to be, just to bring some awareness. At this point, yes, the book will release early 2024. I'm excited
Hmm.
about it. I'm a little nervous about it as well. It's a serious topic, and I seem to
It
find these
is.
serious topics, but I think they need the attention. So,
They do.
um,
They do. And as you find Michelle, if you're already not a follower or friend, and you find her on social media, be sure to look out for not just the book that will be coming out. Uh, I call it BBB. It's because I can never remember it. Whether it's the bullied, and the bystander, or it's the bully, and the bystander. And I love that title. But it's I'm looking forward to that book. But she also has written a book, Scattered, about caregiving. It's the journey of a caregiver through Alzheimer's and dementia with your parents. And although another serious subject, it is an important book for women over 50 who find themselves in that situation as being a caregiver. And so, whether you're caregiving for your senior parents or you're looking out for your grandchildren, Michelle seems to have some resources that will help us as we go through this 50 something journey. Michelle, what would you like to leave people with in terms of your book and what you're doing to bring awareness to the subject of bullying?
right. With regard to bullying, it just tugs at my heart because we have an entire generation who's just inundated with with social media, with not really having or being forced to have the social skills that we had to have, right? We didn't have
Mhm.
social media. We didn't have the computers. Like, I remember no computers. So we didn't have that. We had to actually have conversations. We had to talk to and get to know people.
Mhm.
But it's a little bit different now. And so with that, like, we got to know each other one on one. They're one on 1,000, one on
Right, right.
2,000. And if anything disturbs your reputation or your perception of yourself, then it's multiplied by, thousands
Mhm.
or hundreds or whatever the number may be. But it's harder. It's more than just three people not liking you.
Right.
It's, so that can really wear on them. So, self-awareness, and encourage our youth, because
Mhm.
they truly are going to be taking care of us one day. I'm in the sandwich generation where I am caring for a parent as well as my daughter, so I'm kind of
Mhm.
stuck in the middle there. But just, talk to the children, whether they're your grandchildren,
Mhm.
a neighbor's child. If you can be that outlet for them, be that outlet. Be that support. Um, yeah, just be that support for them.
Right. Um, just as we close the podcast today, and I really appreciate you coming and talking about your book and just your relationship with your daughter and what's going on with our youth. I want to really remind people I know the book will be up on your website pretty soon, maybe this week sometime. They'll be able to go on and get on your waiting list.
That'd be awesome. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So we will keep that information in front of you in the comment section. So just check Michelle's website and get on the waiting list so that you can be aware when the book will be available, or just to be able to jot Michelle a line of encouragement as she goes, she and her daughter take this journey to get this really important information out and just support her. I just believe wholeheartedly in what you're doing on both, like you said, in the sandwiched in the middle on both ends of this, because it's important to all of us who are in that situation. And I appreciate you for what you do.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank
Okay,
you so
and thank you for being a part of the podcast. And for those of you who are watching us today, we appreciate you tuning in and look for the next podcast. We're going to be talking about some different subjects. We finished our series on entrepreneur, and so you'll be meeting some different people and talking about some things that are relevant to us as we close out this new year and get to, I can't believe 2024 is right around the corner. But be sure to connect with Michelle. Your website is
MichelleSumrall.com.
michellesumrall.com. And we'll put that in the comments. And be sure to connect. I can't say that strongly enough. Connect and find out all about what's going on with TLC and what's going on with Scattered and the bullied, and the bystander.
The bully,
The
and the Bible.
bully and the bystander. And again, thank you so much for listening to us today. And if you have not gotten your coffee with Cheryl mug, this is a great time to get it. And you may want to give some out to your friends for Christmas gifts. I know I'll be sending out a few this Christmas, and I just appreciate you for sticking with me and supporting me on this journey to get information about what it means to be a woman over 50 and living your best life right now. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.